Hello everyone, it's Tora and welcome to Boyfriend Beta Kirameki Note, or Kirameki Note for short. This is going to be a guide video, but first of all I just want to say a big thanks to Kira, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from Kuro Reto, for sort of introducing me to this game, because I saw her scouting video for it and I just thought the chibis were so cute, and so I had to download it, and I love it so far, so thank you to her. Another reason I downloaded it actually was I was sort of looking for a new idol game because I still can't get Banjo-Rose to work on my iPad. So we're not getting any videos from that, so I thought I would try this, and honestly, I'm really impressed with it so far. I've had little to no crashing problems with it, compared to some of the other idol games that I've downloaded. So overall, I'm really pleased with it. And also, before I start this guide, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. This guide may not cover everything there is to know about the game. There are a few reasons for this, one being that I can basically only read enough Japanese to sort of understand what I'm supposed to do, so unfortunately I can't reliably translate the various stories in the game. I can translate a little bit of what the boys are saying enough to know, like they're saying, will you eat lunch with me, or sleep well tonight, or whatever, but I mean, that's about it. Another thing is that this game is very, very new. Like, it literally just came out last week, like last Tuesday. So if you're watching this in the future, there might be new features that aren't covered in this guide. I also won't be covering the events. There's an event going on in this game right now, and since there may be different types of events later, I'll be making event guides later after this game has been around a little longer. And finally, I'm human and I make human mistakes. So if I miss something, I'll either make a caption or put something in the description about it. And if you're confused about anything, you can just leave a comment and I'll try to answer it as best as possible. I won't claim to know everything about this game, but I think I figured most of the stuff out. So if I miss something, just let me know. And I think that's about it for the disclaimer, but there's one other thing that I want to say before we go into the game. That is that this guide will not include a tutorial for the tutorial. The main reason being that I already completed it, and I don't really want to give up my account to start a new one, specifically for this guide. It is mostly self-explanatory, and I'll be going over how to change some of the things that you might miss or mess up in the tutorial, how you can change that later. But there is already a closed caption guide on YouTube that does cover that, I think. So you can go watch that if you want. And I think that's about it. So without further ado, let's get into the game. So let's see. And I know normally there would be a login bonus, but I already got that one for today, so that's not going to pop up. But if it does for you, then you can just sort of tap through it, and that'll be the end of that. So these are the announcements. This game is really, really new, so it's got like 2 announcements, I think. If they will load. Yeah, so it is Senna's birthday today, so you get a little bit of a login bonus for that if you're watching this like today, like within the next 24 hours, literally. That's the event gacha that's going on, and I would be explaining more about that in the event guide, as well as the event itself. I will warn you that you do have to rank for the 4-star. It's just how this game works, I guess. That's the current, just regular gacha, I think. And that's it for that scrolling banner. There's a couple other things in there about the event and stuff, but that's about it. Alright, so this is your home screen, your room with your boys in it. And as you can see, there are a lot of things that have little red numbers on them because those are my notifications. I guess we'll just start from the top left and sort of go around the screen here. So there's your rank in the upper left, and also how much... Oh, come on. I forgot this game did. Okay, there we go. So that's your rank, and also how much EXP you need to get to the next rank. Your LP is right there, or I guess it's your stamina or whatever. I think I'm going to call it LP just because. And this game does give overflow LP. I was able to get rid of it in about 5 or 6 days or so by playing hard and expert songs. So it's not terrible. Come on. And then there's the crystals, which are this game's form of love gems or star gems or star jewels, whatever, diamonds and such. They're the premium currency that you have to use to get all the good cards. Then the notification thing under that tells you, I guess your next goal to clear or something like that. In the upper right here, you have the event banners and if someone's birthday is going on, I guess. Because this is the first birthday that's popped up, in a week, so. Let's see. Down here is the gacha. I guess we'll do this first. So this is pretty much similar to the gachas and scouting things in other games. So this is the event gacha. You get more points in the event if you use the event cards, like ensemble stars, actually. So there's that. And then there's just the regular premium gacha, which I guess has like the initial 4 stars or whatever in it. And so if you want to do a solo YOLO, then that's 100 crystals. And if you want to do a 10 pull, then that's 1,000. Over here's the normal gacha. This is like the equivalent of the friend point scouting, which I think they are actually called friend points in this game. Yeah, down at the bottom there. So there's that. And they do give you 1 free one a day, so let's do that right now. Another thing about these gachas is that, like Cinderella girls, they will give you items occasionally. So this is an actual boy here. So the color of the curtain tells you what rarity it is. So this is a 1 star. It has just a plain old green curtain. I think you can get 2 stars from the Daily Scout, but that's sort of like the equivalent of getting an R, a rare card in Love Live, so it doesn't happen too often. You can also do a 10 Scout. I think I'll do that now just to show you what getting an item looks like, I think, because you do get a pretty good mix of items and boys when you do a 10 Scout in the normal gacha. What is also interesting about this game is that they give you the English names, like the Romanized names, when you scout, but then they don't really show up anywhere else. So you sort of have to memorize what their name kanji look like. Alright, so here's a mix of items and a little bit of the boys. So basically the items can be used to level them up. It's like, sort of like sacrificing normals or just using the trainer cards in Cinderella Girls. So there's that. I think that pretty much covers the gacha. The nice thing about this game, which I'll be showing you later, is that it's this menu button down here that just lets you get to everything for almost every screen that you're on. And it's really nice and I use it a lot. So let's go back to the home screen. This is your gift box, present box, whatever. You can get stuff out of here. Most things tend to expire in 29 days. But actually, okay, there's the second page. It goes on to the next page. And that little black thing right here is what it looks like if there's no expiration date. I haven't taken everything out of here because like some of these are the items from event points. This is a login bonus right here. That's Senna's birthday jewels, or crystals, I guess. I'm still getting used to that. There's a rare card that I got from the event. There's a couple keys in here too. So you can either hit this blue button to just collect one at a time, if there's one specific one you want to collect, or you can hit this big blue button down here to just collect everything, which is really nice. I guess on that page, you can collect 1 page of items at a time. Alright, so that takes care of that. Then down here, right, well, almost where I was clicking, is your goals and such. If you're just starting out in this game, there'll be your beginner goals, sort of like in Yume Ito Cast, I think. You do have to clear those before you can get to these. And if you follow along with this guide, we'll get to most of them. You do have to play a couple lives and log in for 2 days, I think. But you should be able to cover most of them, just like by playing on your own. So these are the main goals that you have to clear. I think this first one is from a rank up that I did, rank 10 it looks like, and then the second one is from accepting someone else's friend request. So we can collect those. I guess I could have also just hit this this one on the bottom. Come on. Alright. These are the daily goals, so sort of like, I'm not sure if any of you have played Love Live before the 4.0 update, but I know that like there are specific daily goals they had to clear. And I know in Cinderella Girls, you know, if you clear like 3 daily goals, then you can get Star Jewels, I think, yeah. So this game sort of works in a similar way, so this first one that I've cleared is basically just for doing the daily free scout. The purple one is for a full combo. There's one for using a DX skill. Clearing, let's see. Alright, so that's clearing communication with one of your boys. That's for basically leveling up a card right there, and then yeah, and then that's the one I cleared. That's that. I'm pretty sure this one's his birthday. Okay, so these are send us birthday goals, I guess. Let's see if I can read them. Okay, so this is what? I can't read that. Gotcha. I guess that's you have to scout. I mean, I know he didn't really scout in his birthday box, but that's what that says, I think. Use him as a leader in one of your units, I think is the one on the right here. This one you have to feed him food, and I think this one is just clear one of his stories. Alright, and so you could get possibly 80 crystals, which is almost a solo. So that's pretty good. And I'm sort of like discovering the birthday stuff as I make this guide because it literally turned to his birthday like half an hour ago. So I'm just sort of learning as I go here. This is the menu button. It's extremely handy. I use it all the time, and we'll be returning to that to sort of structure the rest of the guide. On the right here, you've got the costumes, which is that green button also. The episodes, which is sort of like the story. And then you've got the music on the right there. That about covers it for the home screen. So I'm going to go back to the costumes now. So instead of cards in this game, you have boys and costumes. So let's start with this green one, because this is essentially how you level up your cards. I guess just like a little bit of an overview about the cards themselves. You can see I got the new ones. I just pulled in the gacha just now. The 1 stars are the lowest rarity. They're sort of like N's. 2 stars are like R's. 3 stars are SR's, and then 4 stars are SSR's, basically. And I think that's where they pretty much stop, at least for now. So let's go into Toma here. So essentially, this is the base card. This is the base card that you're leveling up. You can click on one of these pluses to add something that you want to level them up with. So you can either choose another card, and most of mine are grayed out because they're in a unit, which is what that microphone thing stands for. As you can see, I think Kishin, I think that's his name, is not grayed out, and I could actually use him for one of the to level up a card of the similar attribute. But Toma is purple, so we're not going to do that right now. I'm going to go back to the items a little bit here. So the 2-star items, you know, the rarer the item, the more experience it'll give you. I'm not totally sure what the 4-star spool of thread does, but I am a little hesitant to just use it on a 3-star. Mostly because I understand how the items in Cinderella Girls work, and I'm not sure if I want to use that when I ever get a purple 4-star. So for now, I think I'm just going to use that 2-star, and I'm going to use a couple of these 1-star thread things over here. As you can see in the bottom left here, this does cost a little bit of money. It's not terribly much, but I haven't had to worry about that. Oh boy. Okay, I don't know what they call those. I'm going to go and call them coins, I think, or gold or whatever. I'm not terribly worried about how much gold I'm using in this game yet, mostly because I haven't had to worry about it, so I think the game does a pretty good job with that. You can just click this blue power up button, and it'll ask you if you really want to use that 2-star item, and I'll say yes. And there you go. He's leveling up there 3 times. Alright, so you can either power him up again, which is this blue button. You can hit Osusume if you want the game to decide what to give you, but clearly I don't want to use all of those on him, so I'm going to reset. Let's see. I think after you level up, I'm going to just use another purple thread here. Then you can hit this base button to change which card you want to be leveling up. Like if I wanted to level up Takeru next. Then I could do that and he's there. So that covers that. This next button is pretty much the equivalent of idolization. They call it a step up in this game. So basically you just pick a boy. Now I'll go into a little bit more. As you can see, there's a lot here. So they'll basically give you all the boys who you can level up. Or step up, I guess. So if one of them is in a team, and the other one doesn't have any bond points yet, they'll only show one, like for these two on the far left over here. The third one in the middle, Kishin, I think, is already at the max number of steps. He already has been stepped up twice to, I guess, 3 of those green things. So he can't be stepped up anymore. Now some of these other ones, they have differing amounts of bond points and such. So generally the one on the far right is the one that you should use as the base and then step that one up. For example, let's see. I think it's with him. You can pick this one for example, and they both have 0. But if you go to the one on the farthest right, then he's the one with the 10 bond points that you need to be stepping up. Because you do get that extra 10 bond points. It's sort of like, I think Love Live, where you can add on the extra. Well, I guess every single idol game can add on extra bond point slots. I don't know. If you idolize them, step them up, or whatever. So we can do that right now. And then after you step them up, their pose on the card does change. So if we hit the new base again, see that's loading, and he has a different pose. So we can step him up again because they do have a 3rd copy. And then he's all done. And you can only step them up twice, so if you have more than 3 copies of a boy like Arashi over here, then you can just sacrifice the rest of them to whichever card needs leveling up. So, that's it for stepping up, I think. Honestly, I'm not totally sure what the DX skills do. They do tend to help you in a live. Alright, this is for leveling up your DX skills, and clearly I don't have enough resources to do any of this yet, because I think the one on the far left is a DX applique, and I only have 2 of those at the moment, and I would need 30 to level up his DX skill, so I can't do that yet. And don't have enough of the other ones either. But basically they help you in lives. I know this Toma's DX skill regains you life. It's sort of like a healer card in Love Live or other games. Let's see. This is basically just a big list of everything you've got that pertains to costumes. Ever, and you can sort it up here. That's ascending, descending. Sort by rarity, level, life, skill, etc. Newest. But this is sort of just like a member list, but with the items in it. This shows you all the items that you have that you can use to level up your DX skills, which I don't have enough of, clearly. Finally, this is also just another giant list of all your costumes, minus the stuff that's in the unit. Well, not minus it, but it doesn't show you what's in what unit. Actually, now what does this do? I think this might be this. Yeah, this is the sell page. Okay, never mind. This is the sell page. Which is why you can't sell things that are in the units. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. So this is the unit thing. So basically you can make a unit for each attribute. There's 5 attributes in this game, which I know is a lot more than other idle games. But basically I'm just going to call them by the colors, which is purple, red, yellow, green, and blue. So I would recommend making a team for each of those because they do have songs for all 5 attributes in this game. And by doing the friend points gotcha, you can usually get some 1 and 2 stars of each color. So you can either tap on a boy to pick a new one for your team. But if we want this Takeru, you can do that. Do that as well. You can see that little blue arrow right here is going up. And then you can just hit back. And there he is. You can also use this blue Osusume button to just make a team based on what the computer thinks would be best for that team. And here we're getting a little bit of an error message because I'm trying to put 2 Takerus within that main 3. And it's saying that it won't display the other Takeru because clearly if you're doing an actual real live show, you can't have 2 of the same person showing up. So I think, he still contributes to the team, it's just he's not there. Like you won't see his model pop up when you play the live show. So that's that, I think. Let's see. This will tell you what DX skills you have, which is nothing for this team because we don't have any 3 or 4 stars. If we go to this first one here, you can see that there's an L wing on it. So basically, it says, let's see, something kick up, level 1 out of 10. I don't have enough stuff to level it up yet. But you can put it on the left or the right. It really just depends because you're supposed to hit this wing button in the middle of a live show, so it is really up to your own personal preference which side you want this button on. I guess we'll keep it on the right. So that's about it for that page, I think. Okay, so that's if you want to just delete a whole unit. Alright, so here's basically like the story mode of the game. They call them episodes here. So this is like one of the main episodes, and if we go into it, then I think this one's called Bada Bada. It's gotta download it first. This might take a couple minutes. I might skip through this on the video. Alright, so here's the story. Basically, they're just sprites, and some of them are voiced. So there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of voicing in this one, but basically on the top here from left to right you have the skip button, the play button, I guess, to turn off the voices, and I think to turn, oh, that's just the whole log of the whole conversation. Alright. I think that's to turn off the speech bubbles if you want to do that. Yeah. Okay, then that's autoplay actually. Never mind. So we're just gonna skip this because honestly, I'm not sure I could translate it that well. So then you get crystals for every story you clear, which is really, pretty standard. And then you do get new songs sometimes. So this is Kishin's song, I think. And then you can also have stories for each of the boys specifically, and I'll show you how those work. So here's their lineup, basically, of everything. It's not clear to me if this is like all the boys in the game or just the ones you have cards for. If we go to Takeru's, for example. You can see he's got 1, episode there. And so then you can unlock his story by clearing each of these things with the keys on them. Basically, use the keys to unlock their story. At the very end here, I think you get some sort of special CG or, you know, a little scene. But you do have to clear like to the 3rd level or something, so you either need, I think, a total of 10 bronze keys or 1 bronze key and then 15 silver keys. So that's that. And again, you get the keys by maxing out the bonds on your cards. So that's the event story, which is pretty self-explanatory, I think. So let's move into the music. Now, when the screen first pops up here in a minute, it will be showing the event, because this is one way that you can navigate to the event page. I'm probably not going to be playing any of these because I could tell a little back when I was scouting that this game is probably going to lag a lot and possibly even crash if I attempt to play a song while the recording's going. So I'm not going to do that now. But I may put up a section in this video later that sort of shows what happens when you play the song. But for now, I think I'm just going to go into one of these. So up here you have these little music notes showing the difficulty of the song. Obviously the top bar shows the type of the song. Hi, sorry about that. My recording software just cut me off there because I think I was at 30 minutes or something. So anyway, as I was saying, this number over here is how many LP or stamina it takes to play the song. This is the rewards that you get for playing the song, and it'll tell you what combo you need to get, what score you need to get, and so forth, how many times you need to clear it. Let's see, ranking is basically just, I think, your scores on the song compared to everyone else in the game, literally, and your friends, if your friends have played this song, which some of them have. Actually, one of mine has. Shout out to all of these people who are on my friends list. I don't know if any of you are actually watching this video, but shout out to you if you are. But I've not played this difficulty of this song yet. I think I've played... Oh, come on. I know I've... Okay, I guess I haven't played this song. So that's that. And then this get thing down here is what kind of items you can get from playing this game. And these are basically food for feeding your boys, which I'll show you later in this guide. And then down on the right over here, I should pick something that I've actually played to show you how that works. Like this one. It shows you your high score, your high combo, and you know how many times you've cleared it, approximately. And then this blue button over here is for playing the song. And so you can pick someone from your friends list. I'm just going to pick someone here. And then you can pick a team. You know, obviously pick a team that where the attribute matches the song color. And then you can start the game. If you click the settings button, then you can just sort of mess around with the different music settings, which I suppose I'll go over now because that does relate to this. So here's where you can change the sound, you know, how loud everything is. This is like the size, the combo text, I think, is set on normal right now. I think one is probably larger and the other one's probably smaller. I'm not totally sure what those last two things say, so we're not going to go over those. If someone knows what they are, you can leave that in the comments. And then over here is like sort of the mode. So I think by default, this is set to this high 3D one. And so this is like if you want the 3D models dancing along while you play the song. This one also, and your skills would tend to pop up in the form of cards. Sort of like how Love Live puts the girls up whenever they have their skill activated. So that's the same sort of thing there. And then if you're having problems with lag, like I know that I was having trouble getting any sort of combo on most songs just because of the lag during the fever time. So I set it to 2D and that did solve a lot of that issue. And so did the timing, which I'll be showing you in a minute, I think, is this last thing, yes. So this first one here is the note speed. If you want to change that around, I think the default's pretty much okay though. This is the sound for things again, I guess. I think this is tap sounds, if you really care about that. Then this last thing here is the timing. So you can either like set it yourself, which unfortunately relies on your own sense of rhythm. So if you don't have a very steady sense of counting, this is not a good method, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'll do it myself. Now hold on. Yes, cancel. So basically the thing will clap 3 times, and then where the 4th one should be is where you tap. So, okay. We're gonna go back to that then, because I messed that up. Yes. As you can see, I'm getting something silly like -12. Which I think, let me think. I think that means that you need to tap later than you normally would. And obviously that's not going to work. So you can hit these plus and minus buttons on the side to adjust it to whatever you think would be good. Personally, I set it on 2, simply because I was still having a couple issues with the lag, and setting it to a negative number made it worse. So if you set it to a slightly positive number, that should help with the lag a little bit. And then if you sort of set it to a moderately low number, like 1 or 2, then when the lag goes away, then you won't be breaking your combo as much. So that's what we want there. So that about covers it for the music section. So you just go back 1 or 2, and you go back to the menu button, and here's where you can edit the room, because the home screen sort of also functions as the room where your idols stay. So you can change the background here to whatever you want. I'm going to set it back. You can also put boys in the room. You can pick any of the boys that you have costumes for. So let's see, and you can only keep 4 in the room at a time. So if I want to put in Arashi, let's say, then I need to get rid of Senna and put Arashi in there. There he goes. And if I have multiple outfits for one character, then I can click that clothes hanger, and I can select which costume I want to use for them. For example, if I want to put Toma in this red sweater, then there he is. I'm going to put him back in his army outfit though, because that's the only 3-star I have right now. Not you. Yes, you. And then you can also change which poster you have in this room, or you can just remove it if you don't want your boy just chilling up there like that. And there'll probably be updates to this room, because it looks like you could potentially put more posters up if you had more space. But that's probably something they'll be releasing at a later date. Let's see. Yep, and that about covers it for the room. So if you hit the home button, it'll ask you if you want to save your changes, and I'll say yes, because that's fine. And there's Arashi. Let's see. There's a gift box again. And so here's where you can essentially feed your children. Each of them has a favorite food. Fortunately, you don't need to memorize it. It's just gonna be there. And you can pick these foods up by playing different songs. And as I showed before, then you can sort of look at each song and see what you need to get. Some of these boys just have like a small amount of food, and so you can just give it to them. I think that was a confirm to ask if you really wanted to give it to them, or you really wanted to choose them or something. Let's see. As soon as it loads, whoever this guy is, I'm not really good with names yet. I think it says, Alan. I'm not terribly good with names yet, but there is a wiki out already because this was based on a browser game. So you can sort of look at that and try to learn their names if you want. Essentially, you just drag the food over to his mouth, and he'll eat it. And then you get a little action so that when you put him in his room, or in your room, then he can make that little emote thing. He can look angry. There's a couple that are just, already there, sort of. And then there's some that you have to unlock further. What I'm not clear about is if, you have 37 of these, and if you just use them all, that you only get one thing. Let's try that. Okay, so it looks like you got 3 things, so the more food you have, then the more things you can unlock. It looks like I unlocked 3 different things there. I got 2 emotes and a voice line, so that's pretty good. So you can continue to do that with your boys. The ones that have food that can be given to them are the ones that appear here. If you can't give them food because you either don't have food or you don't have the boy, then they won't appear. You can also sort them, I guess, by name. Oh, by newest. That one is probably... Oh, that's by how much food you have for them. So as you can see, I have 25. I think that's red bean mochis over there. And then I only have 1 hamburger for Arashi. So that's that. Here's where you can look further in depth at the boys. And this is basically the profiles. If I want to look at Takeru. And there he is, and it'll give you his birthday and how old he is. Well, no, actually it doesn't give you that. It'll give you his birthday and how tall he is, how much he weighs, and so forth, And also his favorite food there. His hobby, and so forth. You can also look at his cards. Well, I guess costumes that you have for him. You can also see how many you don't have. I don't have a lot for Takeru. I mean, I've got several 1 stars, but that's it. And this, you can also feed him food, apparently, if you click that in the upper right there. And here is this little extra boy button where you can select a different boy that you want to look at. Here's Toma. That covers that. Could have hit the menu button there. I did. Why did I do that? And so here's your profile. So you can edit a couple things on here. Let's see. So this field up here is basically your screen name, what will appear to other players. This is my ID number, so if any of you want to friend me on here, you can just send me a friend request. And I'll probably answer it because I don't have a lot of friends on here yet. I'll probably cut that off at some point, but you can try. This is basically like your greeting line. People see this when they are about to send you a friend request, or when you send a friend request to someone else, this is what they will see. This is the number of songs you've cleared for each difficulty. So as you can see, I've cleared 3 normal songs, 10 hard, and 6 expert. This area down here is essentially where you can change how the characters address you in story mode. One of these is your first name, and one of them is your last name. I'm guessing it's last name first, but honestly, I don't know because I just set them to the same thing, and they just call me the same thing every time. And this, honestly, I don't know what this field down here is. Okay, so this is where you can enter your birthday. Maybe they'll do something on your birthday. I guess I'll let you know about, like 6 months. Or so. Yes, that's my birthday. Alright, so that's your profile card. Let's see. You can also see which boys they have. Or no, this is which boy appears in your profile card. So if I want Takeru to be on there instead, then we could do that. Yes, that's better. Okay. I like him better than Toma. Anyway, so. these are the announcements again if you missed them or are closed out of them or something. Here are your friends. So this big blue button up here is your friends list. See all the people you're friends with. Shout out to all these people. You can also click on their profiles from there, I think. But that's pretty self-explanatory. Over here is the friend request that you've received. As you can see, I already accepted the 2 that I got. So there's none of those. You can hold up to 50. And then here's the ones you've sent out. I've sent out quite a few that have not been answered yet. But those are there. Then here's where you can search for someone by their ID, I think. Yeah. Or by their nickname too, apparently. Or you can add someone from Twitter, or request them from Twitter, or whatever. Or line. Or email, I think. Let's see. To be totally honest, I forget what this button does, but I'm about to figure it out. Okay, so this is basically just like if you want to, I guess, access the website, share something on Twitter, email. I'm pretty sure this is the store because it's just crystals. I'm not totally sure what this is doing, honestly. Okay, so this is like the copyright information and other things like that. This, I'm pretty sure, is your transfer code. Yes. Oh, if you want to make a transfer code, okay. It's pretty self-explanatory, so it looks like it lasts for 7 days. That's what it looks like, 7 days. Okay. Help. It takes you to the website. Actually, no, it doesn't. It just gives you help. In Japanese, probably. That's if you want to watch the opening again. And this would take you back to the title screen. Probably this last gear here, which is probably options. Honestly, I haven't played around with the settings too much in this game because I haven't needed to. This is basically just the live settings that we were able to access earlier. So, I think that's pretty much it for this guide. Thank you so much for watching. And stay tuned in the future. I may be doing an event guide. And I'll probably be doing a scouting video for this game because my teams are really, really bad right now. I've only got 1 3-star, which, you know, is the equivalent of 1 SR, so I'll probably be making a scouting video very shortly. So see you later.